Okay, so we are on day 1, and we're going to discuss perpendicular bisectors, angle bisectors, and midpoint. First thing is, take out those vocabulary. I want to make sure that we add this. Make sure we have all the correct answers for this. Because these are things you are going to see very regularly. Yes. Check this first. Technically, the lesson started, so probably after the lesson. All right, any questions on that? Again, this is just to make sure that we did this correctly. We're not missing anything. These are symbols you're going to see for the rest of the year. All right. Anybody still checking it out? All right. So an angle bisector, you're going to want to highlight this, star at something. Just make sure you don't lose this sheet. Is an angle bisector is a ray. So that's the first missing part right there. That divides an angle into two congruent angles. So in this case, if we had this 60-degree angle here and we included that angle bisector, that would mean that this ray that kind of splits the angle in half makes this angle congruent with this angle. Okay? When using angle measures, it tends to be relatively easy, but you must read directions carefully because they're going to ask you, what are you solving for? Are you solving for one angle? Are you solving for both? Are you solving for the whole? It all depends. Okay? Please make sure that you're reading directions carefully so you know what you're solving for. Any questions on that? Anybody still writing that down? All right. All right, so let's move on to our first example. We have this triangle DCE, and it looks like we've got angle 1 and angle 2. Given CP bisects DCE. So I'm going to mark some things here just to, make my life a little easier. So they're telling me that CP, this guy right here, is bisecting DCE. So that means this has to be congruent with that. They're telling me that the measure of angle 2 is 48 degrees. So this is 48. They said find the measure of ECD. So they want the measure of the entire thing. Well, if this bisects and this is 48, what does angle 1 also have to be? Who can tell me? If it bisects, it cuts it in two. Yep. 48. Excellent job. So this needs to be 48. So which means if I want to find the measure of ECD, I am going to take, it's going to be 48 plus 48, which gives us what? Okay. 96 degrees. Very good. So now what they're telling you is that, okay, so this is the basics. Now the next example, we're going to use some algebra. Okay? It can be a little more difficult, but not bad. So don't freak out about it. It's just, it's stuff you've done before, just we're adding shapes to it. So if BD bisects angle ABC, solve for X. So again, they're telling us that this is a bisector. So this and that angle and that angle have to be congruent to each other. So what do I do to solve for X here? How do I set this up? If these are congruent, then that means they're what? Begins with an E. Yeah, they're equal. So I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to set them equal to each other. Someone tell me, what does x equal after you solve? Okay. 41 degrees, yep. Or 41. X is just equal to 41. So they're telling us x is equal to 41, which means that I can check this easily if I substituted this in. I could take 41 minus 7, and that actually gives me 34, so I know that this is working. Okay? Questions on that? Okay. If BP bisects ABC, solve for x. All right, so they're saying again, this is our bisector. This is our bisector. These two are congruent. What do I do? How do I solve for this? I set them what? If they're congruent, that means they're, Luis, what do you think? If they're congruent, they're, we just talked about it. Yeah, they're equal. If they're equal, bless you, you can solve for x. So this will be 6x minus 14 equals 3x plus 10. All right. Again, you can solve this however you wish. I'm going to subtract the 3x from each side and add the 14. So this leaves me with 3x equals, looks like 24. Divide by 3. What does x end up giving to me? Okay. 8. And now if I want to check this out, which I do highly recommend, I'm going to...
After the 3x plus what?
I added the 14 on each side. I just did in one step rather than two. So if I subtracted 3 from this side, that means I got to add the 14 to each side.
Okay.
All right, now to check to make sure this works. All right, I'm going to substitute it in. So this will be 6 times 8 minus 14. This is going to be 3 times 8 plus 10. And both of those equal what? Who can tell me? Good. 34 each. Do those work? Yeah, because they end up being congruent. All right. How are we doing? Anything I can address so far before we move on to the next page? All right, flip it over. Let's start writing this one down. So you have lines available on your note sheet. A segment bisector is a line, ray, or segment that cuts another line segment at the center, dividing the line into two congruent parts. The line always bisects or passes through the midpoint of the line segment, dividing it into two equal parts. All right, the next definition we have is midpoint, a point at or near the middle of or equidistant from both ends of a line segment. A segment bisector and a midpoint, you cannot have them on a line. Lines go on till infinity, so we can't have a midpoint of a line. There's technically no middle because it keeps going. You can have a line bisect a segment, but you can't have a line actually be segmented. Okay. And then make sure you, bless you, you write this down. A midpoint divides the segment into two segments with a ratio of 1/2, or you can state, 1:2, whichever you prefer. And I know it's not listed on here, but it says only segments have midpoints. A line or ray cannot have a midpoint. Why is this true? It's because there are not two endpoints. There is at least one end that continues on to infinity. There we go. That was easy enough to add. All right, show of hands. Who's still writing this down? Okay, give you another minute. Okay. I'm sorry. Is an emergency because you're not supposed to leave during the lesson. All right, make it super quick. And then make sure you're back in like a minute. Okay. All right, example 1. Let's take a look. M is the midpoint of RT. Find X and MT. All right, so in this case, if they are telling us that this is the midpoint, that makes this segment congruent with this segment. And if they're congruent, that means they're what? All together now. Equal. That's not all together. All together now. What is it? We're getting better. One more time. Equal. All right. That is super important. All right. So we're going to have 5x plus 9 equals 8x minus 36. Someone tell me what's the first step? What's the first step for solving this? Luis?
Would be so I would do first. I would just like do the 36 divided by 8.
I wouldn't divide anything just yet. Close
Right?
though.
So would you add 9 to 8? Like 8 plus 9?
Close. How about this? How about we subtract the 9 from each side?
Yeah, that's what I meant to do.
Okay. So I have 5x equals 8x minus 36 minus 9. What does that give me? I got negative 45. Okay, so now that that's complete, what's the next step here? So we got the numbers to one side. How about the next thing? What's the next step? Numbers on one side, what do we bring to the other side? Perfect. All right, so we're going to subtract 8x from each side. That leaves me with negative 3x equals negative 45. Last step, what do I do? Yep, divide both sides by negative 3. All right, so I'm getting x is equal to, looks like 7. Okay, but is that what they told me to find x, but what else did they want me to find here? MT. Wait, hold on, it's not 7. I looked at the wrong thing. It's 15. Whoopsie. Jeez Louise. There we go. Yeah, 15's a little better, right? All right. They also want us to find MT. So I'm going to take this 15. I'm going to substitute in for MT. So this will be 8 times 15 minus 36. Which gives me what? Eight times 15 minus 36. Yep. 84. So we got what we need. So we got MT. And we have x equals 15. Those are the two things they wanted us to solve for. All right, let's try example 2. Any questions on example 1, though, before I move on? All right, example 2. So this says, y is the midpoint of xz. If xy is equal to 2x plus 3 and yz is equal to 4x minus 11, find x and y. All right, so the first thing they want you to do is you have to draw the picture. So what you do is endpoint, draw a line segment, another endpoint, and this endpoint is xz. They're saying that the midpoint is y, so that's going in the middle, making this congruent with this. And then they're also telling me that xy is 2x plus 3. And then yz is equal to 4x minus 11. All right, everybody with me so far? So I drew the picture, and I put everything in that it told me to put in. Now what they want us to find is they want us to find what x is equal to. So we're talking about these x's right here. And then xy, they want us to find what this segment is equal to. All right? So again, if they're congruent, that means they're what? Oh, do I have to do it all again now? Equal. Okay. So we're going to have 2x plus 3 equals 4x minus 11. I want you guys to solve for it. Tell me what x equals. Luis, you know what?
So again, when you subtract, right? You start with subtraction.
It depends on what direction you go.
I'm starting with the left side.
So you're subtracting what?
Minus 3.
Yep.
4.
Not 4.
11.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to give it like another 30 seconds and we're going to go over this. All right, who's got x? X is equal to what? So a lot of you what? Yep, 7. Nice job. All right, and we take that and we substitute it in for x, y. So this will be 2 times 7 plus 3, which gives us a total of 17. That's it. So you'll have x is equal to 7. X, y is equal to 17. All right, so we got one more example, and we got to try it. Now, this example is going to kind of flip the script on you a little bit, all right? Because rather than them giving you the 2 parts, they're giving you 1 part and the whole, all right? All right, so let's take a look at this. So J is the midpoint of RT. Again, they want you to draw that picture. If they don't give you the picture, you have to draw it. Bottom line, okay? RJ is equal to x plus 3. RT is equal to 5x minus 9 to find x. All right, so I'm going to draw it first. Here's R, here's T, here's J. Those are congruent. RJ is x plus 3, but then they're telling us RT, this total from here to here, is 5x minus 9. Now, they don't want us to just find x, which helps out a lot, but let's think about this here. If we know these 2 parts are congruent, what do we know about this part? What is this part equal to if both parts are congruent? Oh, wait. Someone's going to have to give it to me because I'm not going to, I can't let this one go. We got to see it. I'm sorry? No, not divide by 2. It's not equal to divide by 2. If this is congruent with this, what does this also have to be then? Yeah. It has to be x plus 3. Okay? That is super important. And it's not that the visualization was wrong, was divided by 2. If you divided this by 2, technically you're supposed to get these parts, but they're not going to equal x plus 3. It kind of gets mucky. All right? So the easiest way to handle this is to solve for x. We're going to have RT is equal to RJ, providing I can actually draw a J, plus JT. So this is going to be 5x minus 9 equals x plus 3 plus x plus 3. So my first step here is going to be to combine my like terms. So I'm going to add the x's together and then add the 3's together. That's going to leave me with 5x minus 9 equals 2x plus 6. From here, I want you to solve. Tell me what x equals. Who's got an answer for me? X equals what? No. So that's for another class, absolutely not. Where's that left? Good. 5. Nice job. X is equal to 5 here. Perfect. All right, we don't need to solve for anything else, but if at any time you want to check, what would you do? You take those and you what? Names with an S. If I'm not here, who's in my place? Substitute. Substitute it in to x plus 3, both will equal 8 in this case, okay? And then if you substitute in here, it should equal 16, which it does. Okay? Questions on that? All right, try this one first. Try this one next. It says you try it. B is the midpoint of AC. Draw the picture. AB is equal to 2x plus 4, and AC is equal to 6x minus 4. This one is a lot like example 3. Please try it on your own, and then we'll go over in a few minutes. I'm going to set a timer, let's say 3 minutes. I think 3 minutes is fair. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to give you guys a hint. This is a test question. Very similar to, anyway. You might want to give it a shot.
Yeah, are we trying this one?
No. All right, so as you guys can see up here, I have the picture. This is the picture that you should have drawn, or at least something similar to it. Now, as you solve, it says, first off, the first thing we need to find is x. Someone tell me, after you solved, what was x equal to? Good.
What's x?
Yeah, what's x?
6.
Nice job, 6. But am I done with this problem? Yes or no? No, right? What does it want me to solve for?
X.
Yeah, well, no, we already did that. What's to solve for something else? What does it want us to solve for? AC, right? We need to solve for AC. That means they want us to solve for the whole thing. So I'm going to take that 6 and I'm going to substitute it in. So what does AC end up equaling? 36 minus 4, I get now like 32. Okay. That's what they're looking for. Any questions? All right. Homework is on Delta Math with the orange circle right by it. Okay. This is due tomorrow as well if you didn't finish this. Okay. So you have some time. You can get started or continue on with the Google form. Those of you watching at home, have a great day.